serious times. We're living in serious times. So strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious times. We're living in serious times. You do not know if your friend or enemy or a friend. Right now things are hectic, so who is serious or playing tricks? Keep a firm meditation, don't stop in nothing foolish. Keep your heart clean and strong, let your God self be established, and strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times, it's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Take this advice. A mother once gave to her son. Give not all your strength unto the lecherous woman. Know the ways that can destroy a true king man. Cause Delilah's on the prowl and she's a deadly one. So strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. This is surely not the time to backslide. Don't let the wrong thoughts take you for a ride. Temptation pretty and a dazzle in your eyes. Your role in this world you have to realize. Cause it's a youth disrupt and one brutalize. To strengthen up yourself, you youth and your wife. Bring forth good fruit, child, the future of your life. Bring forth good fruit, child, the future of your life. Oh, strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. Serious times. We're living in serious times. It's such a mysterious time. We're living in serious times. It's surely not the time to backslide. Don't let the wrong thoughts take you for a ride. Temptation pretty and a dazzle in your eyes. Your role in this world you have to realize. Cause it's a youth disrupt and one brutalize. You strengthen up yourself for youth and your wife. Bring forth good fruit, child, the future.
Shalom, shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. I hope I can be heard. If I can, please let me know before I proceed. All right. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sisters. Quick on the draw. Well, shalom again, family, and welcome to another broadcast. Greet you all in the name of our soon coming King, Yahushua HaMashiach. And glad to be here with you all once again to fellowship through the word of our King, to reach the house of Israel scattered among these nations. Before we begin, let's have a word of prayer, and then we'll go right into our studies for tonight. Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe. Abba, I'm grateful to you for your love and your mercy, which truly endures forever. Thank you for sparing our lives. Thank you for the mishpachah that are still scattered among these nations. With the hope, Father, that you will gather us one day Bring us back to the place that we deserve to be, in holy Jerusalem. Abba, we have been struggling for many generations, and now we are fed up, we're tired, and we ask that you will restore the covenant and remember what you have inscribed in the palm of your hands. Your love for Israel, as you said, the apple of your eye. I pray that you will open my mouth to speak your words. Bless everyone that's here in the chat room and all our listeners worldwide. I pray that you will help our people to walk in righteousness, and even those righteous Gentiles who love you and love your people. That you prepare a place, Father, when you return. We thank you, we love you. In Yeshua's name, amen. Hallelujah. Again, greetings, Mishpachah, in the name of our soon-coming King. I thank the Most High for this opportunity to be here with you all. Before I go into tonight's class, I would like to say a special thanks to all the family who came out to the Feast of Tabernacles, the last great day of the feast. Special thanks to Brother Obadiah for helping with the MCing and also his class that he brought forth. I'm actually looking forward to having him speak either on Shabbats or even on the Friday night, that he can build up our people also and be a strong light in this diaspora. Bible says that the harvest is great, but the laborers are few, and it's always good to have those who love the Most High, who is trying to order their house well, and is taking a lead, taking a step out to teach our people. So special thanks to him and all our brothers and sisters who have assisted us, also the chefs and the chefettes who prepared the lovely meals, and also the lovely cakes, the bakers and the bakeresses, if that's a word at all. I also want to thank all our lovely singers and those who are the young ones and the little ones and the older ones, everyone who has traveled from far and near. I thank you all for making the effort. I know it's never easy to just pick up, pull together a few shekels and travel far distances, and you have made that effort. And I really want to say that we appreciate your heart. We believe you me. It's even though you're seeing the thing on video, but even after the camera is closed, there's much love and warmth and fellowship. It's like one family that we've always known for a long time. And it's really good, brothers and sisters. I can imagine what it'll be like when our master has returned and all Israelites are back in our own country, not having to worry about mortgages or how much shekels you got mixed with lint in your pockets or anything like that. But to see all of us able to be together in the land and having our own fig trees and vineyards, and children are just out there playing and having a wonderful time. Temperature is just the right setting. Breeze is blowing just right. Oh, what a wonderful time that will be. But opening our eyes and coming out from that wonderful dream, we face the reality of this world and these times that we live, Mishpachah. I put together this particular topic for tonight, Generation Z. Generation Z. Generation Z. Family is a great concern of mine. An epidemic, I would say even worse than a plague, that has been all over the entire earth. And it's plaguing all societies, and I'm very concerned about the Hebrew community, the Hebrew people, Israelites scattered among these nations. I'm very concerned about the younger generation in particular, Being a man of experience and growing up not having access to a lot of things that this generation have has groomed me and prepared me uh, to have a different view as far as technology is concerned. We have learned how to do without a lot of things, and whether it's jobs or music, you name it, just a lot of things that we had growing up or we didn't have growing up made us the people that we are today. Self-sufficient, not dependent, not easily controlled. That's the key word, not easily controlled. And I am very concerned about our younger generation. You know, as a parent or as parents, we often think that technology can be our friend. The advancement of new ideas and stuff will be beneficial for our people if we can only get one more degree or half a degree or just go to school or something. We can better ourselves as a people. And while that might be true or may be true, it's true to some degree, Mishpachah. The technologies that we have today have a different spirit. Let me put it that way. Has a certain spirit upon it, which we're going to examine just a little bit. And when we had our little children growing up, because I remember back in the 80s when the Atari and Mac computers came out and the Amiga computers and I mean, you name it. There was a bunch of little experimental startup companies that were trying to you know, IBM was out for many years, but they started to come out with more technologies. And we used to have a floppy disk that was as big as a sheet of paper, and it can only hold a couple kilobytes on it. And the computer was very limited. Only certain businesses had it. All the cash machines was manual. People had to use their brains to count. You name it, goes on, goes on. I mean, even telling time, there wasn't too many digital clocks out there. But we've entered a time where the generation that we live right now, that we have right now, is exposed to a lot of technologies. And the technologies are not coming out just once every 10 years or, you know, a few ideas every so often. It's coming out every single day. Every single day. You go on YouTube and there's a commercial for a new piece of technology that is a little better than something else. Whether it's a camera, it's a phone, it's a TV. The TVs are even smarter now than before. They will look at you and talk to you. You have these computer systems that you just put it in your house and you can talk about whatever. It'll listen to your voice. It will remember your voice. It will activate whatever apps that you need. I mean, everything is centralized, and that is a very big concern. Now, we may not really see. We may only be we only maybe looking at this thing from the positive view of saying, well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with having technology. Well, it's not about the technology per se, but the people who are inventing these things have an agenda. And they're quickly moving us to the place where the Bible calls it that one world system, the beast system. Remember back in the old days in the book of Genesis, it spoke about the language of all the people were one. And there was nothing that stopped them from doing what they wanted to do because the language was one. Now we have computer languages that communicate across the board, banking systems that uses computers, mailing systems. Communication now has bridged all of the problems. Doesn't matter what language you speak or what's on your mind. I mean, even a person who can't speak can blink and operate a computer. And so this is a great concern of mine, because what I see today is that our younger generation is hooked into the system, that it becomes almost like an umbilical cord. It becomes like IV. If you ever go to the hospital and see people hooked up to a post with a bag hanging from the machine, and if they got to go to the bathroom, they got to drag this thing with them to the bathroom. If they go to the lobby, they got to take it with them to the lobby. Wherever they go, they're hooked up, they're plugged into this thing, and they cannot do without it, because that's their lifeline. And so we find that our young people today have been hooked up to a system, as you can see on the screen here. Generation Z. Z is the last letter in the alphabet, which to me points out to the last generation. And on the screen, you can see the artist putting a depiction of a great addiction, to the point where the people have become as zombies. They can't do without looking at a screen. That thing is calling them and calling them and calling them. The amount of time that is spent on these systems is astronomical. If you had to take a young person and say, okay, go spend time, I'm not going to take you off of the computers, and just monitor how much time they spend on these things, you will see it's probably almost close to 24 hours. Close to 24 hours. We sometimes will buy electronics for entertainment as adults. You know, you work hard, you say, you know what, I'm going to play a little car game or chase the rabbit around or something. Donkey Kong, or that's the old ones. Or some karate game or something. Just to kind of like, you know, break the norm, and a football game or basketball game or something. And that's okay for adults, because adults at least have some control. But when you put these devices in the hands of children, the level of control is not there. They need someone to regulate their usage from time to time. And so tonight I want to go into this great problem that I believe our people need to address. Every single household. It doesn't matter if you're in your 70s and up. You may have some grandchildren that is addicted to computer systems, whether it's a tablet, a phone, a computer, something. Or you are a parent with multiple children, or if you don't have any children, if you're single. If you're single, you have to be concerned, because you may marry someone, if you're planning on getting married, who may have the spirit that would say it's okay to give my children or our children these devices. As long as we give them access to good stuff, it's not going to be a problem. Well, let me tell you something, Mishpaka. It doesn't matter if it's good. If you classify it as Bible games, or you classify it as a Bible program or something, programming is programming regardless. And the addiction comes with the amount of time that you spend on these devices. So Generation Z is something that we ought to look into, and we need to band together, brothers and sisters, and try to fight this epidemic that has plagued our people. Just the other day, some of you all probably received a text message, or what you call an alert. It's called a presidential alert. on your phone, and it's probably said something. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Now, there are some people who said if you click OK to close that out, it activates your phone and turn your phone into a looking device. It activates your camera, it snaps a picture of you, and it is given a tally of the people that are out there. Now, I don't know how true that is. It could be possible. I don't know. They have done different experiments to prove that these things can happen. Some of y'all have seen the movie The Kingsman with Samuel Jackson as the bad guy, the villain, that he sent out free phones to people, kind of like what Obama did with the free phones for welfare recipients. And the reasons for that was to have control over people and to wipe out people wherever as a means of population control or some type of controlling device. Now, when you look at these movies, a lot of times it's given us 20 years in the future. Sometimes the future is moving so fast in terms of technology that they will give it to you right on the spot. It depends. And we have to pay close attention because they would cram a lot of different things, either in the movie, either the actor or actress is saying something, or they might put something up on the wall. It can be a pencil. It can be any little thing that they can have within the movie itself that will give us some clues of what's happening behind the scenes. So for the average Hebrew, or I should say for the Hebrew who's into prophecy, or Hebrews who pay close attention to the times, we tend to see a lot of these things, and we keep track of it, we make notes of it, and we try to warn our people about what's happening. Now, this presidential alert thing is the first time in history that I know of that such an alert went out. Now, I know there's a national broadcasting thing where if there's war or something, that the TV will all networks will have to flash something on the screen, and usually at 12 o'clock midnight, well, Gentiles midnight, they will, well, back in the old days, they would have dun, 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 and then the flag will, and they'll close down the system and everyone goes to sleep. Well, that was back in the day when we had analog TV and people didn't have these 24-hour cable networks and whatnot. So that's something of the past. But now everyone, because of the way society is moving, everyone is on the go. People are always looking at their devices, whether they're at work, shopping, driving, flying, probably even swimming. People have the devices because they got the waterproof phones now. They have the all types of phones and systems that makes the phones like an Iron Man. They can go to high altitudes or deep in the water, or maybe the phone. As a matter of fact, the phone can even fly to, because some of these phones can be attached to a drone or something and just fly up and take pictures. So this is where we are today, Mishpachah. This is where we are. So they can release these signals to everyone here in America, and they can even double that by hitting other places of the world and sending out the right message and get results. If they want to shut down all banking systems or your access to a bank, they can do it worldwide. If they want to send out something to hypnotize you, because believe you me, I'm pretty sure there's a hypnotic app out there, hypnosis app, because they already have the sound systems, certain frequencies that can bypass your protective conscious system, use that word, and get into your brain using radio waves. There are certain types of music that is designed to make you calm, to make you feel high, to make you laugh, to make you angry. There's a whole bunch of different frequencies out there that can do that because they've done the tests, okay? So Satan's hand is everywhere. The government is working along with Satan. Remember, the book of Daniel says that the prince of Persia had withheld me. This is what Gabriel said, and Gabriel is an angel. So is it a regular man that held back an angel? No. The only person that wrestled with an angel was Jacob, and he got his legs and everything twisted. Okay? Now, that was it. Now, I don't believe that there's no prince of Persia, being a human being, can stop Gabriel. That prince of Persia, Mishpachah, is a reference to a very powerful angel that's assigned to the government of Persia. Okay? So there are angels who work in high places whose jobs are to interact with the governments and such like. So I believe that this thing is only part of this beast system. And we have to be watchful, or watchmen, or watchwomen, and be very careful that we warn our children, because the older ones may say, oh, it's no big deal, you know, nothing wrong, it's advancement, and things like that. No, Mishpachah. The societies today are preparing our people to be controlled, monitored from every aspect of their lives. Looking at this screen, you see this little child with a baby in a crib that has a Bluetooth device in its ear, and its bottle, it's feeding off of a phone. Now, back in the day when we had these Ericsson phones and Razor this and Razor that, sometimes, you know, when you have your phone in your hand, your child or a child will say, hey, let me have that. Can I see it? And you give it to them, and they're fascinated with all the buttons. They want to press it. And you can see the fascination with children from an early age. Then later on, the companies got real wise, and they started to add little simple games into the telephone. And then when the parents are traveling in the vehicles or on a plane or whatever it is, they'll hand the phone over to the child to keep that child quiet while they're driving, so the child won't be jumping around in the seats or whatever. And all of this is part of the conditioning. Now today we find, just as the baby was conditioned into feeding early in life with these technologies, we can see that even adults today, that generation that fed off of those phones, or earlier versions of phones and game systems and whatnot, have now become adults. They're either in their early 20s or later 20s, 30s, early 30s or so. And the phone is a must-have at the table. Now, this is very, very dangerous, not just on the physical level in terms of frequencies and Wi-Fi hitting our bodies, but to us, we don't see the damage, and they don't have a history that shows us the damage. But Generation Z is a generation of almost mindless people. They believe that they are very intelligent and smart. But what they don't see is the danger that is around the corner. They don't see that they're being programmed to become zombies. As a matter of fact, it has become the new drug. People everywhere feels a need to be plugged in. And almost every household, apart from the keys to leave their house, the phone. The phone is very, very, very important, because the phones is a mobile computer. It's very powerful. If you had to take this and go back, um, let's say to World War II, with a device like this, even if you had no internet, just the fact that it was small, it has the ability to load up a lot of stuff in here, you probably would be able to win World War II with your device, with that type of technology or power. You can probably build a bomb. You can probably do a lot of deadly stuff with this type of computing system. But as you can see on the screen, this has become the new drug. Now, let's think about this for a moment, right? Back in the days, and even now, when drugs were a plague in different communities, people actually sold their souls to whatever that's around them so that they can be able to get their fix. Women sometimes will sell their bodies for sex, sell their bodies for money, giving sex for money, so that they can finance their habits. Men will do different things. They'll rob, they would steal, they would lie, they'll be homeless, they wouldn't work, they don't have any drive to go do anything. They're not motivated to do anything at all. They don't want to socialize. They're very isolated to themselves. The only time they come out is to get their fix. And today we find we have the same problem. The young people don't want to socialize. And if they do, it is only in the artificial world or the virtual world of games. Okay? That's the only way that they feel within themselves that they can interact with others. And if you take away their devices, now you have people who are not working anywhere, but they have probably one of the most expensive phones, probably even more power than the phone that you and I have. They're not working anywhere. They don't have a job. They don't have anything going on, but they need to have that particular phone. Why? What do you need it for? And when they would actually explain to you and justify all the reasons why it is important to have that particular phone. They would tell you this phone is good because of this, and the other phone that you have is not this and that. And they will actually put down what you have, put up what they have, and they will explain everything. But when the time comes for them to explain scriptures, explain anything that is pertaining to growth in life, productivity in life, they can't explain anything. Ask them to put together a plan of action for their lives. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What are your goals? They don't have an answer. They will just pull things from their heads and try to give you an answer. But are they working on that? That's the question. They would focus upon technologies, and when you take away the technologies from them, this is how you know they're addicts, because when you take it away from them, they get really, really angry. They stop talking to you. They hate you. They slam the doors. They drop things around the house. They screw up their face. I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Tell them you're going to put them on a fast, an electronic fast, for 24 hours. And that 24 hours would seem like if it's a whole week. Go a step further and say, you know what? I'm going to take away this device from you for 6 months. And now you have an enemy in your house. Now you are the worst person that ever walked this planet. They don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to interact. You put 2 or 3 young people in the same room, and they don't have anything to talk about, unless it's about, well, dude, do you know about this game? So yes, Mishpachah, this is a very serious problem. And let me play this video. Let me play this video here. I want you all to take a look at the effects. Let me close this out for a moment. Of these technologies called social media. Let's take a listen.
People have to understand, are you using your device or is your device using you? Can you put it down? Can you turn it off?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
What do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it.
My biggest concern is the unfettered access to social media and cell phones, quite frankly, because there's a biology to these things that are as addictive as alcohol, nicotine, and gambling.
Right now, a family is out to dinner at a restaurant, not enjoying each other's company, but each staring into the screen of their choice, completely ignoring the family members. And this is mom, dad, and the children all doing the same thing while they continue to eat. They did it the entire meal. Right now, an infant is getting their first iPhone and learning to tap and swipe all while drooling on it. 92% of 2-year-olds play video games because that is what parents are putting in front of their precious children to keep them entertained and quiet.
This is your life now. No natural behavior. Everybody's wearing clothes they don't want to wear. Everybody's showing up and doing something they don't want to do. They have no connection to. That's the problem with our society. And then what's the reward for all this stuff? Go home, get a big TV. Go home, you're gonna get a shiny belt buckle. You're gonna get a nice purse. You're gonna wear shoes that you couldn't afford last week. You're gonna get that dream car. And every week we're chasing down this new object. And every week we're trying to fill this hole in this sad shadow of a life that we've been left with after work. That you work 8 to whatever the hours a day plus commuting, and then you're like this. And that's your life. That's your real life. All that other stuff is not your life anymore. All that other stuff is work. And most of us have committed to that. I know you've been there before, and I've been there before. And we understand that it's a trap because we got out of it. But for the people that are in it, a lot of times they don't even understand it's a trap. They just think it's a good job. They think they got dental. I'm doing really good. I got my own parking spots, got my name on it. And you're just a piece of a heartless, shitty machine that makes money.
All these kids that are graduating college with these $80,000 degrees that can't even work at Starbucks. All the people who put their money in the stock market and bought all this real estate, 2008, it all went away. Don't let anybody fool you into believing that there's a guarantee, that there's a safe way. The well-trodden path is the scariest way, in my opinion, right? Because then you just spent the last 80 years of your life doing everything that everybody else told you to do, and you never really lived or produced anything unique. If everybody's going this way, go that way.
We now know that many of the major social media companies hire individuals called attention engineers who borrow principles from Las Vegas casino gambling, among other places, to try to make these products as addictive as possible.
In South Korea, internet addiction is classified along with alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling as an addiction.
Well, you know, it's about balance. It's not that they're inherently bad, and it's not that texting or social media is inherently bad, but it's when it gets out of balance. If somebody carries their phone wherever they go, like they physically feel anxiety if they put it down. When they're with their friends and have to have it up the entire time looking at the phone while they're with their friends. You know, when they wake up in the morning and check their phone before they say good morning to the person sleeping next to them. These are problems. This is out of balance.
I'm not knocking the phone. What I'm saying is we have to understand, we have to at least ask ourselves around the world, you here in England, wherever you are, what is it doing to us?
All right, Mishpachah. Let me close this out. Let me play one more. Let me play one more.
The tycoons of social media have to stop pretending that they're friendly nerd gods building a better world and admit they're just tobacco farmers in t-shirts, selling an addictive product to children. Because let's face it, checking your likes is the new smoking. Philip Morris just wanted your lungs. The App Store wants your soul.
There are 2 billion people, more than 2 billion people on Facebook. That's more than the number, it's about the number of notional followers of Christianity. People check their phones 150 times a day, the millennial sort of audience. And so if you think about it, from the moment you wake up, it's like you're jacked in to this environment. And thoughts start streaming into your head, designed by a few technology companies.
What we find is the typical person checks their phone every 15 minutes or less. And half of the time they check their phone, there's no alert, no notification. It's coming from inside their head telling them, gee, I haven't checked in Facebook in a while. I haven't checked on this Twitter feed for a while. I wonder if somebody commented on my Instagram post. That then generates cortisol, and it starts to make you anxious. And eventually your goal is to get rid of that anxiety, so you check in.
And apparently we feel stressed when we can't get our phone or when our battery is about to die. You probably know this feeling. And a research done in Australia among 3,000 people under the age of 30 found that 9 out of every 10 admit to feel this anxiety while having his battery dying.
Steve Jobs revolutionized the entire world with the iPhone, and he never let his children use it because he did not want them dependent on technology.
Right now, an infant is getting their first laptop that's soft and squishy and makes noise. Right now, a child is being born online and being favorited and retweeted.
The hypergenerational segregation of our time is bizarre, unhealthy, and historically unprecedented. You've never seen the like of people sitting at a table in a restaurant not talking to each other because they're texting and using their Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they are at the table and don't even know each other. In the house and can't even talk to each other. And the pressure that's on us to be like everybody else is so great that everybody tries to live like they're in a reality show.
As a culture, we don't have enough in common anymore. And that's because the internet, which was supposed to unite the world, has become too adept at serving us personalized content. Do you know what I saw on Yahoo's front page this morning? No, you don't, because mine isn't the same as yours. People get news feeds now that just spit back customized stories based on what we've clicked on in the past.
We are great consumers, but poor producers. We will buy what we can't afford with money that we don't have to impress people we don't even know, trying to be like everybody else. Get off of Facebook and put your face in a book.
Right now, a teenager is photoshopping their selfie because as a society, we're telling them they're not good enough. Right now, influencers encourage narcissism without knowing the breadth and depth of their impact on their audiences. Right now, 40,000 spectators are in an Olympic football arena watching a competitive esports competition because this is this generation's football match.
There's always this narrative that technology is neutral and it's up to us to choose how we use it. This is just not true. Technology is not neutral. It's not neutral. They want you to use it in particular ways and for long periods of time because that's how they make their money.
You don't realize it, but you are being programmed. It was unintentional, but now you got to decide how much you're willing to give up, how much of your intellectual independence. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem.
I challenge everyone to try going 1 week without social media.
Don't let your phone and social media control you.
All right, Mishpachah. Let me close this out. As you all can see, this is truly a major problem. One interesting thing to note is in the video, it says there are 2 billion people utilizing Facebook. 2 billion people, brothers and sisters. That's equivalent to a religion. It's up there with the Catholic Church or Christianity and even Islam. That many people in Facebook, 2 billion people, and all of their information, their histories, who they talk to, their family members, their friends, their jobs, their conversations, their foods, their likes and dislikes. Everything is held. 2 billion people, you can triple that to the rest of the world. This is serious business. And also noted in the video that Steve Jobs didn't even allow his children to own what? An iPhone. The person who is producing the iPhones and selling these things and promoting these things would not even promote it in his house. What does that say to all of us? Also noted in the video, it mentions that we are being programmed. That's important too. That's very true. Let's take a look at some other things that we need to focus on. If we're being programmed and these people in society are part of Satan's infrastructure, let's put it that way, then we need to be very careful as Hebrews traveling on this road to Zion. Are there devils in the devices? Let's read Ephesians chapter 6. We're going to read verses 12. Just so we can bring out to the forefront that there is indeed, or there are indeed, devils on around these devices. Let's read Ephesians 6 and 12.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
It says, we wrestle not against flesh. We cannot see internet frequencies flowing through the universe. That's not flesh. It's not blood. But there are principalities behind these devices. The Bible says against powers. I'll tell you this much, Bill Gates and one time Steve Jobs and all of these men are powers, Mishpachah. Because if the government wants to finance a war, all they have to do is turn to these giants and say, listen, is there something you can put out there that you can sell, and we'll take the proceeds from that, and we will look the other way when it comes to your taxes so that you can finance our wars. And yes, Mishpachah, in the past, during World War II, a lot of these industries were actually supporting the government, building different things, different devices, not just munitions, clothing. They supported the government with clothing, food, you name it. Boots, glasses, hats, all different types of devices, toothpicks, you name it. The Bible says against the rulers of the darkness of this world. You know, it's amazing that most of the addicts of the computer world spend a lot of their time in darkness. I wonder why. Why do they spend so much time in the dark? They don't see what's happening to them. They can't see it because they're under influence. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. So the question is, who got the whole world in his hands? If according to Shaul that be true, then who really have the whole world in his hands? You read the book of Matthew chapter 4, it says, Satan told Yeshua, all these things will I give to you. He showed him all the world. All of these things I'll give to you if you simply bow down and worship me. All the kingdoms of the world and the glories of them. Book of Matthew chapter 4. The people who control the world right now are so hidden. I mean, you know who they are, but at the same time, they're hidden because they only show you a certain side of them. They only promote a certain side. They show you all the benefits of what they want you to have and interact with, but they don't show you their blueprint. There are two different things. They show you how it's going to benefit society, but there's also the back room where they have their own little board showing how it's going to benefit Satan's network, how everything is connected with each other. And they all come together to push out their agenda. Let me show you a brief example using this these logos and stuff. Hidden messages in the color arrangements. Now look at Google on the far right. Google has red, it has yellow, it has green, and it has blue, which symbolizes fire, air, earth, and water. These are the symbols that is used in most pagan societies and Wiccans and whatnot. Let's look at Microsoft. You think it's a coincidence that Microsoft also have similar colors? Look at it. You have fire, you have water, you have the air, which is yellow, and you have the green, which is earth. Now, when you look at the Masonic symbol with that pentagram, upside down, that pentagram, you can see the same colors there too, with the exception of white. Now, of course, white is in between the Microsoft as a cross. And when you go over to the far left, you can see spirit, water, fire, earth, air. The main components: air, earth, fire, and water. When you start to pay attention to these images, you start to see a pattern. When you open your eyes, you start to see patterns out there. And the patterns let us know that this is not happenstance. These things are by design, Mishpachah. The people who are behind the scenes dealing with witchcraft and dealing with demons and whatnot are involved in the technologies also. Let me share with you just a little bit of research, just a little bit, okay? Demon Internet. Some time ago, let's read this article. This is on Wikipedia. You can pull it up. The link is to the top. Demon Internet is a British internet service provider currently operating as a brand of Vodafone. It is currently operating as a brand of Vodafone. It was one of the UK's earliest ISPs, offering dial-up internet access services from 1st of June 1992. In 1998, Demon was bought by Scottish Telecom, a wholly owned subsidiary of the private utility company Scottish Power. Scottish Telecom rebranded as Thus PIC, or PLC, excuse me, in October 1999 and floated on the London Stock Exchange. Thus, PLC fully demerged from Scottish Power in 2002, thus became part of Cable and Wireless PLC. So the Demon Internet changed or shed skin and now has the skin of Cable and Wireless. And it continues to go on about them changing and then finally becoming Vodafone. So when you look at Vodafone, you don't think of anything wrong. You're thinking, okay, it's Vodafone. But where it came from, the demon shed the skin a few times and now has a proper appearance out there in the world. Now, why would someone want to call their service a demon? Think about that. Let me just jump down a little bit here. The public telephone company, I'm sorry, the public telephone number of the company and many of the dial-up access numbers end with 666, the supposed number of the beast, a deliberate pun on the name demon. When thus PLC was formed as a parent of Demon, its randomly allocated company number also ended in 666. Also, after a spate of access-related names, many of its original servers' host names started with DIS or DIS, being the initial letters of Demon Internet Services, as well as the name of a part of hell in Dante's Inferno, and another name for what? Lucifer. So you look at these code names, DIS, and you and I would never know that this is another name for Lucifer. If you want to know what you're drinking downstream, what do you have to do? Go upstream. Mishpachah, we're dealing with wickedness in high places. Our devices are connected to the same system that they have fixed for us, okay? Now, you've got mail, but from whom? I put this question because, you know, sometimes when I send out emails to the Mishpachas, let them know we're going to have this event, what the title is going to be and whatnot, every once in a while, there's a Hebrew who either stopped using that internet, that email address, or something could be wrong with their email, and it will kick back a message. Now, one day I started looking, I paid close attention to the message that was kicked back to me, and I saw a very interesting word. It was called demon. It kept popping up, male demon, but it wasn't spelled as the way we spell demon. It was spelled D-A-E-M-O-N. So I went and I said, let me go pull up to see what this is all about. Is it what I'm thinking? Is it something else? Maybe I'm just a little too suspicious. Let's take a look. So pull up a search and it says, people also ask, what is this mailer daemon or demon? Definition of mailer daemon or demon: software in a mail server that delivers messages to recipients. When you get a mailer demon at whatevercompany.com, it can be Gmail, it can be iCloud or Yahoo.com, message in your inbox, the server at that company is informing you, the server. Think about words. When you hear the word server, you're thinking, it's just, you know, the electronic thing flowing. But a server is like an angel. As Gabriel is a server of the Most High's word, Gabriel bringing a message to Daniel says, hey, since you prayed, I had this message to return back to you, but the prince of Persia withheld me. Well, guess what? The internet also have an angel. It's a demon that is returning your message because of some failure. So failure seems to be associated with demons. Is that correct? And good stuff is supposed to be with angels of light, righteousness. All right, so let's move ahead. Let's move ahead, Mishpachah. Let's just dig into this thing just a little bit more. Read for me. Grab the mic, young Hebrew, and read for me. Just turn to page 2. I'd like you to read for me and take your time, because we need to get this thing broken down with clarity. And as you read, you will be reading to yourself. Let's read. Simply put, go ahead and read from there.
Simply put, a daemon is a computer program that automatically performs a task. This seems unimpressive, but there was a time when computers relied on human beings to input commands or information in order to work.
So it's almost like witchcraft. Somebody got to put the thing together to make the spell work, to get the message, to interact with another side of a world that we cannot see. But now we have automated that process. It's called codes. No different from a Ouija board that has a bunch of words or letters, and then you got to put it certain places. Let's read on.
A daemon takes